Hi everyone, this is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Today is March 19th, 2024. I'm scooting this video into my indoor greenhouse playlist, and it'll be underneath a major vid that I'm making right now called my gardening playlist, my playbook plan, whatever you want to call it. And I will scoot that in above this one when I get done with it, but I thought I would just really quickly make this vid. It's not totally complete. Some of the information I'm going to talk about I don't have, so I will put it in the link below so you can get it once I get it down there as far as pricing and whatnot. But I just wanted to give you an idea, a visual idea of what I'm talking about in the first vid. And what I'm talking about in the first vid is container cycling gardening. But before I begin, I have to disclose to you I'm not an expert in anything, so anything I share with you, if you try it, use it, or buy it, you do so at your own risk and peril. Also, two, I am neither affiliated, endorsed, or reimbursed by any company or product that I talk about in my videos. Okay, so conversation here is container cycling in my indoor greenhouse garden. What does that mean? That means if you look at the pack, and these are beets, by the way. Here's my beets that I planted. If you look at the pack, it says that from start to finish, you should be able to have a harvest of beets in 50 days, which is about 7 to 8 weeks, 8 weeks tops, under 2 months. The reason that mine aren't harvesting so fast, and that is the fifth week here, is because my greenhouse, it just isn't warm enough, and it's not getting enough light, they're not getting enough heat. And so, creating that playbook plan, I'm experimenting, I'm doing all kinds of stuff to try to make this container cycling, because for the past 4 years, I created the greenhouse. It's really nice, it's a nice space, but I didn't know what I was doing as far as, I wanted to plant everything. I bought all kinds of seeds, and I was trying to do all this stuff, and it was like, this is too much. That stuff happened in the backyard with that guy who sanded his garage down, and all that lead base paint went in my yard. And yeah, I'll have a video on that too. That really devastated me, so I sort of shut down for a little while. Now I'm getting better, I'm getting back to things. I decided, okay, I'm going to do the greenhouse inside. I thought, you know what, I'm going to be smart. So the first thing I did was I created a playbook, and I will share that with you in the next couple of weeks. And I'll introduce you to the idea of creating a playbook for yourself, because you really need to. Taking that information that's in your head and putting it out on paper is one of the most important things to do, and making a plan. And also too, just an assessment of what you're going to need. And basically, you're going to need space, you're going to need time, and you're going to need money, and you're going to need energy. Those are the things you're going to need. So the first thing for the indoor greenhouse is I needed the space. And I have been busy working on my indoor greenhouse. I now have a really nice shelf there. I still have my nice big light over here. I don't know if you've ever watched my vids before. And then I've created a little bit of a U here. Here I put up some ceramic tile, and I actually put this up because otherwise I hit into it, and I didn't want to do that. So I've got it pretty much the way I want it. It's a little unkempt looking, but it's actually not that bad. And eventually, as time goes on, it's going to look a lot better. I've got my organic dirt and stuff. And that's the first thing you have to decide, is if you're going to go organic or not. And for me, it would be nonsensical to do this if I'm not going to do organic. I just don't see the point. I'm trying to eat really healthy, nutritious veggies. So that's what I want to do. The other part is looking at exactly what plants do I want to plant. And for me, I chose beets, and I chose the lettuce and kale and spinach over there. And then I also have tomatoes, and those are going to go outside. Anything that needs to be propagated are seasonal, and they'll be going outside in the outdoor garden, which I'll talk about that in a different vid. But I've got other stuff too growing in another room: green beans, cucumbers, and zucchini and yellow squash. So those are the things I planned. And you have to kind of ask yourself, first of all, what can you afford to grow? Secondly, the energy that it's going to take to grow these things. And then finally, your energy. You need to have energy to do this every single day. How much time are you going to commit? And so by making a plan, it helps you stay focused, and it does so that you can really, work out your mornings or whenever you're going to do this. And then also too, it helps it so you don't waste too much time, because I was wasting days trying to figure this out. And then the plants would die and it would be like, oh my gosh, because I was trying to grow everything under the sun. I mean, I bought broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. I had all this stuff and it was just too much to start, especially. So I just made this plan. Basically, I've got the 3 groups. I've got the beets, and I have different types of beets, and then I have the kale and the lettuce are up here. It's kale, spinach, and then 3 different types of lettuce. And then down here are the tomatoes, like I mentioned, but here I want to show you the beets, and this is what I call container cycling. Now, according to the packet here that I've got, these beets should harvest within 50 days. One of the things you're going to want in your indoor garden, or any garden, wherever you're at, is you're going to want, first of all, you're going to want a monthly calendar every month, which I've got all mine printed out. You're also going to want a yearly calendar, which I have printed out, and it's upstairs, because you're going to want to mark down on your calendar and decide when do you want to harvest. For me, what I'm going to do is every day I'm going to water. And then I also, too, with the calendar, it's really nice because you can figure out which day you're going to fertilize as well. And then the next one is, when are you going to plant? So looking at this, it says it's going to take 50 days to harvest, from seed to harvest. That would be about a month and a half. So it would be about 6 to 7 weeks. And I am saying 8. In my head, I just calculate 8 out. That is not going to be the same in my indoor garden, especially because when I first started out, my indoor garden wasn't hot enough. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to figure out ways to heat up my indoor garden, and that's why I have this silver in here, which it has. My indoor garden was really about at 64. My basement is heated. So, and even with the lights down here, it wasn't that hot. So it's gone from 64 to 71. I need to get it even hotter. I want to have it at 75 to 78 degrees in here in the day. And then at night, 64. Now, it does go down to 64 at night. The lights go off. I have a timer. Here's my timer right here. And actually, I'm going to have another timer on a different outlet, because you do not want to run all your lights on one outlet. It's too much. For me, anyway. Personally, that's my opinion. I would never run all my lights on one outlet. But here I've got my timer set up, and I will talk about that in another video. It's a necessary thing. One reason is because of energy. These lights cost money to run. So that's a major thing. So I need to shut the lights off at night. The other thing is, I think, and I'm not an expert at this, but plants need a break. You know, out in the real world outside, the sun is up for so long and then it goes down. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm having the lights on for so long and then off. And so that's kind of nice. But what that's going to do is it's going to give me that heat, but not enough. So what I'm doing is I'm trying different kinds of silver and trying to figure out how I can really get those plants that direct sunlight that they need. Now here, that's not right. Right here, this isn't good. My plants are too low. So, and I just wanted to show you this because I do have containers, and what I do is I lift these up so that they're right up here. This light is stationary, obviously. It's way too big, and I don't want to be putting it up and down. It's too much. And so that's part of what the container cycling is about as well. So, but let me get back to the beets here. This is how you do it. You figure out how many, on average, how many weeks is it going to take to harvest something from start to finish to harvest. So I do seed, sprout, harvest. That's the dates I want to know. And that takes time to figure out. So what I did was I planted these on a Sunday. And then the following Sunday, I planted those. And then on a following Sunday, I planted those. And as I plant, I move them over. Now, the other thing is you have to decide how many you want to harvest each time. You know, I watch these gardeners and they're harvesting buckets of beets. Well, I don't need a bucket of beets. I only need a few beets each week. That's what I want to do. And when it's organic, it's going to spoil really fast. So that's what I decided. I just want to be able to harvest each week, so many. So every Sunday I plant. Now, if this worked the way that this was set up, where it says exactly 50 days to harvest, we'll just say if it was, let's see, 4, 6, 7 weeks to harvest, pretend these were big. What would happen is on Friday, I harvest. On Saturday, I either can wash this or I can harvest on Saturday too and have an extra container to plant for Sunday. And then through the week, I can wash the containers. But technically, if this was start to finish 8 weeks, that means I need 8 of these, 8 rows. Say I was just growing 1 beet at a time. That means I need 1 container for every week, which means I would need at least 8 containers and then an extra container if I just wanted to wait to wash the container I used to harvest. Get my math? So this week I was like, well, I only need 2 this week as well. And then I thought, you know what, I really want 3. I love beets. And then this week I said, you know what, I really want 4. And technically there are at least 4 in here, because when I seeded like 2 or 3 in this one, 2 or 3 in this one, and I'll transplant 2 of them, and unfortunately whatever's left over gets to go in the garbage. But that way what's happening is I'm getting this cycle. You know, it starts here and moves over each week that way. The next thing is lighting. In lighting here, this, I just wanted to try this. I wanted to try these. I had that one, this globe one. So I went out and I bought these. I'm not going to use them. I don't like them. First of all, they don't give me enough direct light on all the plants. That's the first thing. Second thing was, after I bought the dang things, I noticed on here, it says that it is got cancer and reproduction harm. Okay, I'm literally going to get these out the minute I'm done with this video and get these back to the store. I don't want that in my garden. Which comes to another subject, which is plastics, and we'll talk about that in another video. These are number 5 plastics, so that's why I'm using cups right now, because they are the better of the plastics. You do not want to use plastics that do not have the right composition, because you're getting toxins. And I have an opinion about this. Technically, these are going to end up being in glass. Yes, I'm going to show you how I do them in glass eventually, but right now I am actually researching and investigating. I need to know how long it takes for me to seed to harvest, so that I have enough of these containers, whatever they be, I have enough so that I can have them on hand and just keep doing this container cycling. The other thing again was the lights. Well, this is a pain in the butt. I'm telling you, I don't want to do this hanging them down. I would rather do this. And what I'm doing here, I know this looks kind of crazy here, so let me take this out. And trust me, you have to be very careful. If you don't have these full, you have to be very, very careful. So here I have my kale, I have my spinach, and then I have 3 types of lettuce. Here I forgot to plant. Something happened, I don't remember. I think I was sick. But I did plant these. So I have those. So what's happening here again is that container is going to be going like this. These pots are going to go that way. And it's going to be like a ladder. So it's going to go like that. And then as they grow, I want them as close to the light as possible. But they're going to come down a little bit. And pretty soon they're going to be mature enough where I have to have them down quite a bit from the light. So right now I'm just investigating on the heights of what I need. Now this is an example of what you don't do. This one is way down, and these are the tomatoes that are going to be outside. These are seasonal tomatoes. I had a horrible time late last summer. I have a neighbor who decided to sand his garage down, and guess what that garage has on it? You got it. I was devastated, traumatized. I will talk about that in another video. Let me put it this way. I did tests after that was done on the dust that came from that garage, and they tested positive for lead-based paint, and it was dust everywhere. So I will talk about that again. I don't want to talk about it right now because it actually traumatizes me every time I think about it. When I get to the outdoor garden, that's when I'll talk about that. And I've got some plans on how to do the outdoor garden now, because I will never plant in the dirt ever again because of that situation. I felt totally violated. Nothing was done. Nobody helped me. I had to do all the cleaning myself. And lead is obviously dangerous. So again, a different conversation, but you can understand why I haven't really been on, because I was literally traumatized and the garden just stopped for a while. And now I'm starting to feel better. You know, I have the mental conditions aside from this. So I have PTSD, but I think anybody would have an overwhelming feeling of being traumatized with a situation like that. So it's been hard. I cry sometimes, but I'm getting better, and that's why I started. And you can tell about 5 weeks ago is when I started to feel a little bit better, and you know, just the motivation to come down here. And so what I'm going to do here is, instead of these dumb lights, I bought this light, and this light has got, first of all, it's 1200 lumen. And we'll talk about the lumens and the Ks. I think it's Cayman or something like that. I'm still learning too. So, but we'll talk about that in the next video. We'll talk about the actual light and whatnot. Here, what I did though is I'm talking about the container gardening. I'm more worried about that right now as far as that, but also the light a little bit. I will put the amount that I paid for this stuff in the description below, by the way, and the links. I will never buy these again, and these are going back. That one I had, and actually I had that for like one plant that I have, my what's it called, my aloe vera plant. So anyway, point is, getting back to here, I'm going to make, and I'm going to make my own like this using this lamp. I'm going to do that. So in the next video, I hope to have that done, and hopefully these plants will be bigger. But you can see what I'm trying to do. The other thing, just to quickly mention, is what I have also done is I use masking tape and a pen. I write down what it is, and I write the seed date and the sprout date. And then once I harvest it, I'll write the date of that too. And I will document that in my playbook so that I have this cycle. Once this is bigger and I've got this going and I've got it really warm in here, and I've got the metal in here because it is actually helping heat up the room. It's usually about 64, so it's heated up 6 degrees just with the metal. The other thing I did was I put some white sealing stuff right above the plastic, and that helped too. That warmed it up too. So the lights are going to help warm it up. I chose not to have a heater down here. It's too dangerous, in my opinion, for me. So anyway, that's as far as I've gotten. I hope that gives you some good ideas. I know I kind of went on a little bit, but hey, you know, I'm just trying to explain stuff, and it has been a bit of an overwhelming winter. Spring is on its way, and hopefully we'll have a really great summer. And so please like, subscribe, and share with friends and family. Also too, please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon here in Lisa's chat room.